Okay, so the recording has begun. This is day 3, week number 5 of our journey together. Yesterday we did an interesting topic. I want to know if anyone can remember what we did and would like to share something that they remembered or learned yesterday. Anyone can answer. You want to
The
share some
probability.
probability? Okay. Anyone else? You want to share something that you learned yesterday or something that you remember? Anyone?
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Say it again.
It teaches you of the chances that will happen.
Okay, the chances of things that happen. Anyone else? Come on, work with me now. Work with me. Anything that you remember or learned from last class? All right, I have to start calling names. Deshaun. Go ahead, Deshaun. Anything you remember or learned from yesterday, from last class?
From last class with the math, the probability of simple space and events. I
Okay.
learned something from that.
Okay, you learned sample space and events. Okay. Okay, that's good. So we looked at keywords, some important keywords yesterday. Um, one of them was experiment. Deja, what is an experiment?
An experiment is when you do something without knowing the results before you do it.
Exactly. So it's an occurrence that has outcomes, right? Wherein we don't know the result before we do it. Sierra, what do we mean by sample space? What is that all about?
Okay, sample space is a group or set of outcomes for the
Very
experiment.
from your experiment. Excellent. Very good. Um, Dylan, can you give me an example of an experiment that we would have? We looked at a bunch of experiments yesterday, but give me the example of
Will
what?
be the second one.
Say it again.
Does it have to be the second one?
Anyone you could think of. An experiment that we look at. Yes. Um, an experiment that you can think of, either from yesterday's class or in general.
You would say,
Say it again.
I was asking what did you say?
I was asking Dylan for an experiment.
Like using like random like or something.
Yeah, something random. Okay, so that was yesterday. So an experiment could be something like tossing a coin, tossing a fair coin, because with a fair coin um, we don't know what the result would be before we say throw it. Okay. Um, something like rolling a fair dice, something like choosing numbers randomly, choosing letters randomly. Those are examples of experiments. Once it has a random element to it, we could always deal with it like that. We can always consider it as an experiment. Okay, so today, this is August 3rd. Wow, August is moving already, right? Soon you all will be back in uniform. I know y'all can't wait for that, right? right? And the class is quiet. I can't wait to go back to school.
Mm-mm.
You wanna go, but yeah. I just feel like to me, I just feel like the summer just started and it's already over. That's how it feels to me. Um, but maybe it's just me. I can't believe you're already in week 5. I don't know where 5 weeks went. Um, but the subject is mathematics. The topic is oh, the theme. Remember we dealing with the theme. The theme is probability. Please take down these notes. Some people still are not sending me their notes. I don't want to put you on the spot in class, but I am gonna call you tonight if you don't submit your notes. So please take down these notes and submit them. Send them to me via WhatsApp tonight on right after class. So right after class, not tomorrow. Send them right after class before you go to bed. If you go to bed, because I know this is summer and some people take advantage of that. But send it to me right after class. So the topic that we are on is we're still on sample space and events, but this is going to be part 2, obviously. Now, yesterday we talked a lot about sample spaces. We look at different sample spaces, but we never really talk about an event, right? Say an event. So we're going to be looking at events today, okay, and really distinguishing what we mean by that, okay, and that's going to be able to help us to help us in the definition of things. So let's begin with it, an event. So I guess the question is, what is an event? So I guess we can put it in a nice little box there. Have a nice good design for it. So what do we mean by an event? So we know what is an experiment. We know what is a sample space. We know its outcomes. We know what those things are. What do we mean by an event? Okay. So let me let's shape fill it as nothing, and let's put a blue to it. Increase the thickness so we can have a nice well-shaped box. Nice, that's pretty. And then we want to put it like that. Okay, so events. All right, what do we mean by events? So I think we can increase that and have it looking good. So let's underline that. Okay, good. Okay, so let's begin with the definition. So if we have a sample space, all right, so given a sample space, okay, so let's fix the font with this one. Let's make this black and put it on the side. Good. So given a sample space, call it S, capital S. An event, call it capital E. All right, an event, call it capital E, is a subset. Is a subset. Anyone ever heard the term subset? Subset. Does that ring a bell or something like that? Subset.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's a subset of S. Now a subset is a set within a set. Right? Interesting idea, right? A set within a set. So the event is going to be a subset of your sample space. So it's going to be something that happens within your sample space. Okay, so when I say subset, what I mean by that is, look, so we have a set. Let's say this big thing is our set. So let's call that, say, say the set A, right? Now, if I have another set, say, put it in blue, I have another set which is inside here, which is B, right? I would say that what? B is a subset. You don't have to write this down. I just doing a quick example. I'd say B is a subset of what? Of what? Sierra. B is a subset of what?
A.
Of A. Very good. B is a subset of A because B is inside of A. All right. So B is smaller. The symbol that we use is the symbol. B is a subset of A. So a subset is a set within a set. So your sample space is going to be the bigger one, the parent, you'd say, and the event is going to be something. Yeah, and then the event is going to be something that happens within the sample space. All right, so it's going to be a set within the sample space. All right. So clear our drawings. Hopefully that's clear, and you understand what's going on in there. So given a sample space S, an event E is a subset, a set within a set, right, of the sample space S. Okay. Now, the outcomes, or we'd say the elements, if you prefer to use that word, elements or members, whatever. The outcomes or elements in the event E, right, are called favorable outcomes. Now they are favorable because that's what we want. All right. Favorable means what we want. All right. They're favorable. Okay. We say that an event E occurs, and this is another, so occurs is a important word, and favorable is important. Okay, so occurs is important and favorable is important. Give me one moment. All right, sorry about that. So we say that an event E occurs, right? So the event occurs in a particular experiment. So we say that an event E occurs in a particular experiment. Let me remove that and that. We say that an event E occurs in a particular experiment if the outcome of that experiment, this should not be bold. They're still giving me a bold. Good. If the outcome, so we say that an event E occurs in a particular experiment if the outcome of that experiment if the outcome of that experiment is one of the elements of E. That is, if the outcome of the experiment is favorable. So let's explain this and let's break it down so we can get a good idea of what's happening. So an event is going to be a subset of your sample space. So your sample space contains all of the possible outcomes that could happen. Okay, all of your possible outcomes. That's your sample space. Your event is going to be some of the elements of your sample space. It's going to be a smaller group. Remember, your sample space is the big group. All that could possibly happen, right? All of the outcomes that could possibly happen. Your event is going to be some of the things that could possibly happen, not all. Okay. Now, if it is so that the things that you wanted to happen occurred, right? Remember, you don't know if it's gonna occur, right? Then, since you don't know if it's gonna occur, you divide your outcomes into favorable and unfavorable. So favorable it means I don't know it's gonna occur, but I wanted this to occur, so it's favorable to me, right? So we call that favorable outcomes. That's our event. The unfavorable outcomes is another thing. So you could have favorable outcomes, unfavorable outcomes. Favorable outcomes is things that you want to happen. That's going to be your event, right? And we say that an event occurs in that experiment if the outcome of that experiment is one of the elements in E. So if when we perform that experiment, we actually get what we wanted, we say, voila, the event occurred, right? The event occurred because we run an experiment and that particular event occurred. Now, that may not always happen, but in that case, it happened. So events is going to be a subset, it's going to be a part of your big sample space. And so we're going to look at different events. We're going to look at different events and, kind of sum it up and talk about it. So before that though, let's visualize an event. So let's go ahead with visualizing an event. So we're gonna look at it, right? Like, what do we mean by it? Okay, so let's actually kind of draw something here. So let's say we have so my bad, let me bring this up some more. Okay, so let's go. All right, so some people might still be writing. Should I are you done writing the first? Can I move on, or are you still writing the first part?
I'm not still writing, but module is still writing.
Okay, you're already finished. Okay. All right, so hopefully we're done with that. If you're not done with the first part, let me know. If not, I'm moving on to something else. So okay, so let's have this looking nice here. So we want to have something say, I like that. Okay, I just had it. It was pretty neat. Yeah, ugly. Okay, so let's say this, right? So um so we want to go about visualizing an event. Okay, visualizing an event. So how does it look like? Right? Like, what does it look? What does it look like? I think it's better if we choose a different color for this. light to gray. So visualizing an event. So let's write this. So in the following figure, so we're going to draw a figure and you're going to see what we mean by the event, and you're going to see how it actually is indeed a subset. So in the following, so let me put this more to the side. So in the following figure, the favorable outcomes. So the favorable outcomes are going to be the ones that are part of my event, right? The favorable outcomes, the ones I want, right? So events in E. Not elements in E. I hate that. Not elements in E are shown in green, but for you all, I don't think y'all could. I don't think you have, you know, capacity to do green because you probably just using a blue and black ink. So you probably might not even have the. But anyway, you will see. It'll be clear. So let's draw a box here. So this entire box, we're gonna say that that's our sample space, the whole thing. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna divide our box into two parts. So let's say we have, say, this side, and let's tilt this over some more. And let's say we want to do an indentation. So maybe if we can put another rectangle in there, slant that to the side. Well, even if it's just a line, we just need the indentation to be pronounced. Okay, so let's put this all the way across, say, like this, and this one all the way across like that. Okay, so good. And maybe we can put this all in the green color. So let's shape fill that.
Draw that?
Yeah. But wait till I finish because it's not, you ain't gonna see it until it's done. So you can see what exactly to draw. So what I'm drawing here is in the green is going to be my event. In blue, say it again.
If we have to use coloring.
Yeah, if you have it, if you do, if you have crayons, or if you don't, just do one part shaded and one part unshaded. If you don't have crayons, do one part shaded and one other part is not shaded. If you don't have coloring pencils. All right. Good. So that's our events. We need to, let me scroll down a bit more. Okay, good. All right. We need to also show, we need to also put some circles in it. So let's say we have some, let's say we have a lighter shade of, I want the fill. So let's say we have something like this. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. So all of these are different, say, outcomes in your event. So this side represents your events. Okay. So the whole green part is the set of the events, and all of the dots represents the elements inside your event. Okay. Okay, good. Some parts still need to be covered. So say this part. All right. Okay, maybe we can sum this out a bit. All right, now, so this is the event. This part is going to be, so the event is going to be your what? Your favorable outcomes, the ones that you actually want. And the ones here are going to be the ones that you don't want. So these are
That's
still,
like a dot.
say it again.
That's yellow as the dots.
Green, yellow, more so. Okay, so let's have a deeper blue. And so these ones are going to be your unfavorable events, or the ones that you are unfavorable outcomes, the one that you don't want. But all of them are still a part of your experiment, or still a part of your sample space. So essentially you divided your sample space into two parts, favorable and unfavorable outcomes, with your events being the ones that are favorable. Okay, so let's start labeling these things. So this right here, so this obviously is your so this part is going to be our events. What are we gonna put? So the event is what is going to be your what? We call them our favorable outcomes, the ones that we actually wanted. Okay. We actually wanted these favorable outcomes. And then you have the entire thing, so all of it together. So we're talking about starting from, you know, from here all the way, say here, all of it. Oh, sorry. My apologies. I think it'll be better if I so we'd say, okay, so let's just do an arc. So from here, all right, so that arc don't work. So let's just keep it as this then. So from here all the way down to here, the whole box, right, is what we call our sample space. So the whole box is a sample space. So all of the box, the whole box itself, is pointing to the sample space. Okay. So we have the events, and then the whole box is the sample space. Remember, the sample space contains what? All possible outcomes. And finally, we want to look at our, we'd say, these are our unfavorable outcomes. So this is basically what we have, visualizing the event. The event is shown in green. That's going to be all of your favorable outcomes. Then you have your sample space, which is the whole entire box, which contains all of the possible events, the favorable and unfavorable. And this one in blue is your favorable outcomes. Okay. So hopefully this makes clear what we're doing with the event. All right. Give me one moment, please. Later. Okay, so any questions on this before we move on? Is it clear? Let me know. Thumbs up or say something. Let me know if it's clear to you.
I guess so.
I guess so. Why you still guessing?
I mean, the diagram is kind of weird, but you did label it, so okay.
Okay. All right. What makes it look weird?
I don't know. Maybe the fact that it's a box and has polka dots. When you were drawing it, I was so lost until you labeled it.
Oh wow. Okay. Now you know it. So sample space is and there's different ways we could visualize it, right? We could use circles and have the sample space being represented as the big circle. So you can say, the big S that's your sample space, and you would say that this is your event E. That's another way to visualize it. So your event will be inside your sample space. That's another way to think about it. Wherein your unfavorable results would be the ones on the outside. So that'd be, sorry, that's yellow. We want yellow. So it'll be the ones on the outside. That could be another way to visualize it. But either way, it's still the same thing. Just making the idea or bringing on the idea that the event is a subset of the sample space. All right, so good. So that's visualizing the event. Now let's move on to using actual examples, right? So what examples can we have? So examples of, say, sample space, event, and all those different things. Okay. All right. So examples are gonna be, let's say that the event is, so let's describe the experiment first. So the experiment is gonna be, you roll a dice or roll a die, and observe the numbers facing up, right? Now, so if you have that, we know that in our sample space, Sierra was going to be in our sample space.
Blue.
Blue. Well, we remember our experiment is rolling a dice.
Oh, 1 to 6.
1 to 6. You had me scared just now. It's like blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So those are gonna be our. That's gonna be our, obviously our sample space, right? All of the possible outcomes that we could possibly have. Okay. But what if I say, okay, let's say that the event is the event E is the number observed is odd. Okay. So remember the event is also going to be a set as well. But remember, it's going to be a subset. So that means that it's going to come from, sorry, capital E. That means it's going to come from my sample space. Okay. So with that in mind, Dylan, tell me what would my event be? What would be the numbers in my event? Dylan, are you here? Deshaun, can you answer for him? I don't know if he's here.
Pardon me?
Wait, Jasmine says she didn't understand. Go ahead. One moment.
I still don't understand. What?
You don't
All
understand?
these numbers are the dice. Put on the
Say
dice.
it again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the amount of numbers on the dice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you didn't understand the diagram?
I don't understand diagram.
What? It's funny. Okay. What you don't understand
It
about it?
really does look strange.
It looks funny how you draw it.
Okay, what you was expecting? What you was expecting? Hmm?
Never mind. I see.
Okay. I mean, hey, I guess the only thing I can say is the sample space is the box, the entire box. The green represents the events, and unfavorable outcomes represents those in blue. So your box is separated into two parts: events and unfavorable outcomes, the ones you want and the ones you don't want. And so just keep that in mind as we move forward. Hopefully as we move forward, it'll clear up. So, okay, Dylan, back to you. What would be the numbers inside my events? My event. Remember, my event is that the number observed is odd. That's my event.
Question.
Go ahead.
You say the number you observe is odd. So you mean like the odd numbers on the dice?
The odd numbers on the odd numbers from my sample space. Remember, it have to come from my sample
Okay.
space. Okay?
Okay.
It have to come from my sample space. Go ahead, Dylan.
It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
You say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
And so,
Why you have 2 in there?
oh wait, the two don't have to be in there, right? No, right?
I want the number observed is odd.
So 1, 3, and 5.
1, 3, and 5. Why not 7?
I mean, I guess you could add the 7. Well, it's not in the dice, so
I,
that's why I didn't say 7.
exactly, it's not on the dice. Exactly. It have to, remember, the event have to be a subset of your sample space. Remember we said that. The event, look at it. The event have to be a part of the box itself, right? It have to be a subset. It have to be, like if we look at, if we draw it again with the mother and the baby. So the sample space is the big set, right? And the event is going to be what? Inside of your your sample space. So we cannot use any other numbers except these ones. So when I say that the number observed is odd, it's going to be 1, 3, and 5. So the experiment is that you roll a dice, observe the numbers facing up. So let's say you actually roll in a dice and you're trying to, and that's your experiment. But you say, I want the event. My favorable outcome will be the event that I get an odd number. So if you get 1, that's a favorable event. If you get a favorable outcome, if you get 3, that's a favorable outcome. And if you get 5, that's a favorable outcome because that's when your number observed is odd. Okay. So that is an example right there. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we can do another example using another experiment. So let's say the experiment is you let's say you choosing at random letters from the word Mozart, say. Okay, let's say that's the experiment. Rashan, can you tell me what would be my sample space?
M
M
O
O
Z
yeah
A R
yes,
T.
very good, and T. Good. All right. So M O C A R and T. Good. All right. Now let's say my event is that the letter observed is a vowel. Okay. So now, Jasmine, what would be a part of my event? Remember that the event is that the letter observed is a vowel. So what would be a part of my event?
A.
A, very good. A is going to be in there. That's going to be in there.
O.
And O, very good. Anything else? Those are the only 2 vowels, right? Right, Jasmine? All right. So there's something else we need to take account for. What if I ask for the number of elements It's for Deja. What's going to be the number of elements in E for this one?
3.
3. Very good. The number of elements in my event here is 3 because it's 1, 2. Just 3 numbers in there. And this one is for Albernique. What's going to be the number of elements in my event here?
2.
2. Very good. So what are the consonants? All the consonants. Anyone know? Not consonants, sorry. Vowels. Vowels.
The vowels.
Vowels, sorry. Vowels.
O-N-A.
O and A. I mean in general. So in general, what are our vowels?
A-E-I-O-U.
Very good. A, E, I, O, U, right? So when we ask for vowels, keep that in mind. Okay. So what is happening here? Number one, we have our experiment. Our experiment is choosing at random a letter from that word. But that's our sample space. Our sample space contains all the letters of that word. The event is going to be only these 2 letters, which are vowels. So if we were to actually draw that visually, so if we were to draw it visually for you all to see what we mean by that chart is, remember, we can split it. The event is going to be A and O, and the unfavorable outcomes is going to be what? M, Z, R, and T. Okay, so all of this is your sample space. The whole thing is sample space, but your event is going to be here, and your unfavorable outcomes is going to be here. But the whole thing is your sample space. Okay, so A and O is your event. These rest of the letters are unfavorable outcomes, and the whole thing includes or is your sample space. Right, so keep that in mind. So let's do another event. So let's say that our experiment is let's say that you toss 2 fair coins simon 2 coins, one after the other. 2 fair distinguishable coins. That's a very important. Distinguishable, sorry. Now when we say distinguishable, we mean that you can tell the difference. So you toss 2 distinguishable coins one after the other, And so, question for this one, Deja, I want you to help me with this. What's gonna be my sample space?
Uh, you're gonna have one. Okay, the first dice. Oh no, coin. The
Coin, yeah.
first coin. Uh, the first coin could go on heads, and the
Mm.
other one would go on tails.
Let's start with both heads, eh? Let's start with both
Okay.
heads. So let's say that the first one land on head and the first one lands on head. Good. What else could we have after that?
Um, the first one could land on heads, and the second one lands on tails.
Very good. And then what else would we have on after that?
The first one could land on tails, and the second one land on heads.
Very good. The first one could land on tails, then the second one land on heads. Any other possibility?
Both could
Tails
land
and
on tails.
tails.
Both can land on tails. Yes, both can land on tails. Hmm. Good. So that's your sample space. So but we have a head and a head. So the first one land on head, the second one land on head. Then another option is that the first one can land on head, the second one land on tail. Another option is that the first one can land on tails, the second one land on head. And then the another one is that the first one land on tails, the second one land on tails. So let's say I want the event, and my one event is that
Can you go a little bit up, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we get you.
Okay. Y'all can hear me all the while?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. I was asking Dylan, sorry, Deshaun, what what is gonna be inside the event?
Like two heads and two tails, I guess.
Very good. Two heads and two tails because we want that the two coins land on the same side. So it's gonna be um two heads. So if they land on the same side, that means that um both of them are heads or both of them are tails. Now this one is tricky, so I'm gonna ask um the person who I know like tricky questions, Jasmine. Um, what's gonna be the number of elements in my event? Hello, Jasmine? Can you hear me?
Got it.
What's gonna be the number of elements in my event?
4.
4, she said 4. Anyone else agree with her?
Wait, 2?
I agree with that.
You agree with 4?
Yes, because it's 2 coins.
You agree with, I think it's 4. Um, it's actually, this is one outcome.
2.
Yeah, then this is the next outcome. So, it's actually 2. And the reason why it's 2 is because we look at this pair as one outcome, and we look at this pair as another outcome. So the heads and heads is one outcome. We look at that as one outcome. And the tails and tails, we look at that as one outcome. That's why you see us put it in a bracket, right? Because that's actually one outcome. So one outcome has two things that happen in it because that's how we describe the experiment. The experiment happens when we toss two fair coins. So one outcome would be that we toss two coins. Okay, so it actually is 2. So every time you see us have the bracket in between, you consider this as one particular what should I say? One particular outcome. So with that in mind, what would be the number of elements in my sample space? What will be the number of elements in my sample space, Miss Johnson? Miss Johnson, are you there? Hello, Miss Johnson, are you there? Okay, I guess she's not here. So, what can I ask? Rashan, what's going to be the number of elements in my sample space?
4.
4, very good. Okay, so 4, because this is 1. You can't know that's 1. This is 2. This is 3, and this is 4. All right, excellent. Very good. So, we have, when we roll in a dice, we have when we are choosing random letters, we have when we are tossing two fair coins. Another one I would include this experiment, which should be a nice one. So let's say choosing at random a multiple of 3. No. Choosing at random numbers, whole numbers from 1 to 10. Good. So oh my goodness. Good. Okay, choosing at random whole numbers from 1 to 10. So this question is for Casey. Casey, what's gonna be the number, what's gonna be in my sample space, Casey?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Very good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. Now I don't want this to be bold. Now my event, say, is gonna be the number observed or the number chosen is a multiple of 3. So I want Albanic to help me with this. What would be in my event?
Can you repeat what you said, please?
I want you to tell me what's going to be in my event. Remember, my event is the number chosen is a multiple of 3.
One.
Say it again.
One.
Say it again. Say it again. 1. No, 1. 1 is not a multiple of 3.
3,
3. Very good. What else?
6,
6
and 9.
and 9. Very good. 3, 6, and 9. Those are the multiples of 3. So, and we know the multiples of 3 just basically are those things, those numbers that are part of the 3 times table. So the number of elements in this Sierra is what?
3.
Yes, excellent. 3. Good. So we have how much examples? We have probably about 4 examples. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So do you think you're ready for the exercises on this? Okay. So let's do them. So what I want you to do in each case, tell me the sample space and tell me the event and tell me the number of elements in the event. So that's what we're gonna do for these ones. So let's get ready for the exercises. So take down the instructions for me. So in each case, provide the sample space. Event and number of elements in the event. So let's say that the experiment is you want to choosing at random all numbers from 15 to 25, and let's say my event is the number observed is a multiple of 5. Then we have an experiment. So choosing at random. Sorry, not choosing at random. Yeah, choosing at random. A vowel from the word, well, not vowel, a consonant, related vowel from the word just at random, a consonant from the word together. No. Choose at random a letter, sorry, from the word together. And then the event would be the letter observed is a consonant. Number 3, we want the experiment is that we toss two distinguishable fair coins. I say that the event is the number, oh sorry, the sides of both coins are different. So the experiment for this one is that we roll a fair die, and I say that the event is that the number observed is even. I say the experiment is that two fair fair and distinguishable dies are rolled. I say that the event is that both dice land on the same number. Okay, so that's your little exercise. And number 5 is the bonus. If you're able to get number 5, I'm proud. That's extraordinary. If you're able to get number 5, that is exceptional. Trust me. Okay, so let's begin it. 2 minutes is on the clock. Do your best, and I'll see you on the other side of the pause. All right. So that's time. All right, let's begin with the first one. So remember, all you're doing is writing the sample space, event, and number of elements in the event. All right, so better than mine. Okay. All right, who wants to do number 1?
I can do it.
Okay. All right. All right, Rashawn. No problem.
Okay.
So,
The sample space is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
okay, that's excellent. Very good.
The number of samples.
Wait,
Sample.
one moment. Let me put that down before you go ahead.
The number of sample space is 10.
Okay, so 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Good.
The number of sample space is 10.
The number of elements in the sample space is 10. That's good. Uh-huh. What else?
The elements, the event
Uh-huh.
is 3. And that's 15, 20, and 25.
Okay, good. Very good.
So of number of elements would be 3.
Very good. Excellent. So the event is going to be 15, what she said 15, 20, and 25, because all of them are multiples of 5. And then the number of elements in the event, like she said adequately, is, so the number of elements, the number of elements in the event is going to be 15. Sorry, the number of elements in the event is going to be just 3, because 15, 20, and 25. That's good. Any volunteers for number 2? No volunteers for number 2? Are we shy?
I could do number 2.
Go ahead, do number 2. What's in my sample space?
So the sample space is T, so G-E-T-H-E-R.
Very good. T O G E T H E and R. And what's going to be my
Right.
event?
The band is going to be T, G, H, and R.
My event is going to be
T,
T
G,
G
H,
H
R,
R. Okay, that's it. Very good. It's worth mentioning that for our sample space, if a number is written twice, or if a letter is written twice, we don't have to write it again. So that means that for something like this, remember, see how T is written twice? We didn't have to write T twice. So this is actually going to be equal to T O G E H and R. Because for sets, we only worry about those ones that are unique, those ones that only come once. So because I mean, well, here's what I'd say to fix that. we assume that they are distinguishable, so don't worry about that. So assume that they are distinguishable. So if you assume that, that's fine. So if we assume that they're distinguishable letters, that wouldn't be good for us either, because if we assume that they're distinguishable letters, then we'd have to write T twice. No, we could assume that they are I guess we have to write that in our discussion. So so we can assume that they are not distinguishable. So indistinguishable. And what we mean by that is what we mean, no, sorry, my bad. I write indisguisable. So we assuming that they are assume the letters are indistinguishable. That means that you can't tell them apart. So T and T is this, it would be basically the same thing. So it'll be basically the same outcome. So therefore that would mean that our sample space actually is really going to be because this T is the same thing as that T, which is the same thing as, and this E is the same thing as that E. And so they're really not separate or distinct things. So in this case, we're gonna say that we only have T, O, G, E, T, no more T. We already have an E. Good. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so number of elements in our event is going to be what?
4.
4. Very good.
So you say like everything would have more than one word in the same letter?
What I'm saying is, no, what I'm saying is, since we have the same letter twice, we don't write it again. So, for example, T, we have T twice. So, we don't have to write T a second time. Okay? And we have E twice. So, we don't have to write E a second time. So, that means that all we have is T, O, G, E, H, and R. Okay? Because the letters are indistinguishable, so that means that what that means is that this T is the same thing as that T. All right. So, like, how should I put it? Like, they're not different outcomes. So if you get one T, so for example, if you take it and put in your hand, choosing at random, trying to figure out, and you feel out a T, right? Like you can't tell which one is different from the other, and they're not really different outcomes because they're indistinguishable, we say. So the idea behind that is that when we say that, what we mean is we are restricting only to unique outcomes, so different letters, right? So we only care about different letters when we say that, not the same letters. All right. So don't focus on the same letters. Okay, number 3. So in that case, I wouldn't put the full together. I'll just put just the ones without the, yeah. Okay, so next one. This is going to be number 3. Okay, so toss two distinguishable fair coins. The event is that both sides of the coin are different. So Sierra, help me out with this. It's gonna be in my sample space.
So it'll be heads and tails
What else?
and tails and head.
For my sample space,
No, for your sample space, it'll just be heads and tails.
just heads and tails. My sample space. Remember, my sample space contains everything.
Heads and tails, tails and head. Head and tails and tails.
Very good. Because I am tossing 2 coins. Heads, head. So the first one is going to be heads. The second one's going to be head. The first one is going to be head. The second one's going to be tails. The first one's going to be tails. The second one's going to be heads. The first one's going to be head, tails. The second one's going to be tails. So that's my sample space. That's all the possible values I could have. Okay, good. What's going to be in my event?
The event gonna be H and T and T and H.
Very good, because I want that both sides of the coins are different. So my event is going to be H and T, so that's heads and tails, and T and H. Okay. All right. What's the number of elements in my event?
2.
2. Very good. 2. Good. Okay. I want Casey to help me with number 3. Go ahead, Casey.
1, 2,
Mm-hmm.
3, 4, 5.
Okay. All the way up to? All the way up to 6. Okay, good. What is going to be my event? Hello, Casey. What's going to be my event?
2, 4.
Very good. What else? What did you say? 2?
2, 4.
Okay, 2, 4. What else? Can you say it again?
6.
2, 4, and 6. Very good. Good. Now, Casey, what's going to be the number of elements in my event?
3.
3. Very good. Good. Excellent. All right, good. All right. So who's the brave soldier gonna help me with number 4? Is it number 4 that was the tough one? Or we have on
I
number
look like
5?
number 5.
Number 5, eh? Okay, so 1, 2. Okay, good. Yeah, who's the brave one who's gonna help me with number 5?
I can see number 5 first.
The 2 fair and distinguishable dice are rolled. The event is that both land on the same number.
I will do the
Any?
first one.
Okay, what's the first one? Do you think the first one is?
One one 1 2 1 3 1 4 1
Okay,
5 1 6.
that's it?
And it's dice.
Okay.
Would it be? Would it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 twice?
That's what? Who's speaking? Miss Johnson?
Yes, sir.
No. No, that wouldn't be
Well,
right.
let's like two, then two, then three. I mean, like one, two, two, one, two, three, and
Ah,
then keep going from there.
very good. Someone remembered from yesterday.
I'm
I don't
just.
think the bottom. No, that's it.
All right.
I'm not spicy.
But you stop at 6. You stop at 1 6. You meant the whole thing or just those um ones you mentioned? All right. So if we have two fair coins, this is going to be our sample space. We learned that from yesterday. If we have two fair coins, not coins, my bad. If we have two fair dice, our sample space is going to be this. You remember this from yesterday?
Yes, I
So,
remember it.
Good. So our sample space is going to be all of this. So it's going to be the 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, 1 5, 1 6, 2 1, 2 2. Because what? The first dice lands on 1, the second one dice lands on 1, the first dice lands on 1, the second dice lands on 2, the first dice lands on 1, the second dice lands on 3, the first one lands on 1, the second one lands on 4, and so on. Similarly, the first one lands on 4, the second one lands on 4, and so on. So for this one, for your answer, for number 5, you're supposed to, for your sample space, I'm going to put the answer to number 5 here. So for your sample space, you are supposed to write 1 1, 1 2, and all you need to do is write an ellipse. So that's this code, this 3 dots, and let me know that it's going to end at 6 6. Okay, so that should be enough for us because we know what that means. That means all of these. Okay, good. Now, what's going to be in my event? Remember, my event is that both dice land on the same number.
1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5 6 6.
Very good. So it's going to be 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, 4 4, 5 5, and 6 6. This is going to be the number, the elements that are in my event. Okay, so my event is going to have in it 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, 4 4, 5 and 5, and what else? 6 and 6. Good. So what's the number of elements in my event going to be?
36.
Not 36. Number of elements in my event. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Voila. So that was the answer for number 5. Good. Any 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5?
4 out of 5.
I get 4 to 5, but I
Four or
understood
five.
number 5.
Okay, 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 okay. Say it again.
4 to 5.
4 to 5. Okay. Anyone actually got number 5?
I almost had it.
Almost.
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 It's
Okay.
the event.
Oh,
That's
but
what.
only because of all that dice. I was like, what? Oh god.
Okay, no
But I
problem.
still get it though still. So yeah.
That's good. That's good. All right, that's good. Deja, how did you get? Did you get number 5?
Um, sort of.
Sort of. What you mean, sort of?
I mean, sort of. Just like the same. I did the same thing for. I think number two when you were like, oh, you weren't supposed to repeat elements. So I
Uh,
had it right, but then I had it wrong. If that
what did
makes
you?
sense.
What did you do?
No, I mean, I basically did the same thing like what I did for number two.
I don't
So I had
understand.
to correct it.
What you had for the events?
Oh, I got events right for number five.
Okay, your sample space was wrong.
I had to add some more.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's good. Well, I'm glad that you got the both dice on the same number. That one was a good part. Like 1 1 2 2 3 3. And we could there's so much other events we could ask from this question, so we can say, and that's why the sample space is so useful, because we could say we want, what if I say I want the event that um the number that we have add up to 6. Okay, so the two dice numbers adds up to 6. So what would be my event for that if I want that? That the sum of their numbers must add up to 6. Come on, anyone? What are gonna be my favorable outcomes?
You mean for
Pardon?
number
I want that the sum.
6, 6.
No, 6 is too big. That adds up to 12. I want that the sum of the numbers on the dice add up to 6.
7?
No.
1 5.
1 5, very good. Because 1 plus 5 is 6. What else?
2 4.
2 4. Because 4 plus 2 is 6. What else?
3,
3 3.
3 3, very good. What else?
4, 2.
4 2, very good. And what else?
5
4
1.
5 1. Okay, so that's an event, right? If we want all the sum of the number add up to 6, and obviously if we want the sum of the number add up to 9, it'll be this row or this diagonal right there, 6 3 5 4 4 5 3 6. Okay, but there's a bunch of ways we could play with this. We can say, what if we want that, what if we want the event that that the first dice have to land on 6. Okay, the first dice must land on 6. What would we be? What would we have? What would be a event?
6 1,
Yeah. 6 1.
2 6 3 6 4, and so on.
Very good. So all of this would be your outcomes in your event. And we can also play with it some more, and we can say, what if we want that um, that um, what if we want that the sum of the number have to be 9 or less than 9. Okay, so the sum of the number have to be 9 or less than 9. So the sum of the two dice the sum of the two dice must be 9 or less than 9. So obviously that would be all of this, because if we choose 4 and 6, that's 10. 5 and 5, that's 10. That's too big. 6 and 5 is 11. They're too big. All of these are, if we add them up, they give us a number that's less than 10. Okay, so there are different ways to play with the sample space. That's why I like it, and different questions we could ask based on based on it. Okay. All right. So all right. So that brings us to the end of this discussion. So I think it was rigorous. We we got a really good idea, I'd say, of different events. What do it mean? I mean, at first this picture looked weird and all. Like, what is that? What do we mean by events? I don't understand. What does this even mean? And hopefully at the end we sort of cleared certain things up, and I feel like you all have a better understanding of certain ideas, so that's good. Um, so let me take this, and what I want you to do is we're going to transition over to English right now. So let's stay put for that. And so let's see, what can I do? Okay, good. So let's transition over to English. We're still on capitalization rules, and that's what we're gonna do right now. Hopefully we can finish capitalization rules tonight and get that over with. So this is sample space and events part 2. So we really actually got to define what we mean by events. We didn't do that yet last class. Like I say, probability is a huge topic if we eat it up piece by piece. So I'm glad that we're moving, progressing bit by bit with this topic. All right, so let's move on to English language. We're gonna hopefully finish off capitalization rules today. We might even have enough time to do another topic, but let's not go ahead of ourselves. Let's just take it piece by piece. We want to um, look at capitalization rules. Finish that off tonight. Today is what? Wednesday, the 3rd of August, 2022. The subject is English language. Please, whatever you do, make sure you send in the notes for me. The math notes and the English notes. Please do that. Before you go to bed tonight, right after class. Capitalization rules. Okay, so continue, obviously. Alright, so the last thing that we did yesterday with capitalization rules, we ended with this is okay, we did number 8, we did AF Adley, yeah, I remember that. So we did print, okay, business names and stuff. Alright, so we ended with business names. Okay. Alright, so we know that we must capitalize business names. We know that we must capitalize institutions like schools. We know we must capitalize the names of organizations. We know we must capitalize holidays like Independence Day, Emancipation Day. Capitalize the names of um, of persons. When it comes to books, we capitalize the first word and the last word and any important word. And when it comes to this one, we also capitalize the pronoun I and capitalize the first letter of the first word in every sentence. Now we're gonna, bring it all to a close. Business name was the last one that we did. Today we're gonna continue in that journey. That was what number that was. What number we that was. That was number 9. Okay, so let's continue with this. So this is number 10. Excuse me. So for number 10, we want to capitalize the names of, capitalize historical events and historical documents. Okay, so capitalize historical events and historical documents. So, for example, you look at something like the American Revolution. That's something you would want to capitalize. Look at something like the Battle of Shiloh. That's something you want to capitalize. Anyone familiar with the Battle of Shiloh?
Shiloh, is that biblical?
Yes, Shiloh is a biblical term. But the battle I'm talking about is not a war in the Bible. Sorry. All right. All right, can y'all hear me? I wonder. I hope my internet's still holding up. Okay. Okay, good. Um, yeah. So the Battle of Shiloh is actually a battle that took place in the 1860s, and in particular 1862. It was a early war of the American Civil War. All right. So that's the Battle of Shiloh there. It's an
So you're saying it was before the Civil War?
it wasn't before the Civil War. It was a part of the Civil War, but it was one of the early wars in it. You understand what I mean? So it's you have the Civil War in general, but then you have like little wars within the Civil War, say, or different scenes you'd say in a Civil War, say. So it was one of the early battles in the Civil War. It got its name uh from from where it happened. So it got its name from a church where it happened, and the church, interestingly enough, name was Shiloh, and Shiloh, ironically enough, means place of peace. Right? It's weird because Battle of Shiloh, like how could you have Battle of Shiloh? Like Shiloh is a place of peace. So um
Wow.
how could you have a battle at Shiloh? It reminds me of like the war in heaven. How could you have war in heaven? Like how? It's it's interesting because like just to show you how how presumptuous evil is, right? Evil would go at whatever lengths to um to destroy, even if it means having a battle in the most sacred place, right? Anyway, American Revolution, Battle of Shiloh, those are historical events. Important documents would be something like the Bahamas Constitution. Okay, so the Bahamas Constitution, you wanna, capitalize that. Okay, spelled that wrong. Um, the Declaration of Independence is an important document, so you wanna definitely capitalize independence. So that's another thing that you want to capitalize. So you want to capitalize historical events and historical documents. Okay, next up, that's number 10. The next thing that you want to capitalize is this is number 11. Capitalize uh, the names of structures. So when I say structures, I'm talking about stuff like the Statue of Liberty. So Statue of Liberty, that have to be capitalized. Something like a bridge, so London Bridge. Okay, you're gonna capitalize that. And I know you might be thinking, or you probably might be thinking, what about in the Bahamas? Any structures? Well, the Queen's Staircase. Is everyone in here familiar with the Queen's Staircase? Please tell me yes. Because I was having a class
Yes, sir.
earlier and they didn't know what the Queen's Staircase. Well, there's someone in there who didn't know. I've never even heard about this Queen's Staircase. And so that was interesting. So hopefully all y'all know what the Queen's Staircase is. If you don't know, let me just, kind of awaken your senses. It's right near the hospital. We call it the 66 steps. Very iconic place. 66 steps. They say it's 65 now because one is buried. At least that's according to word of mouth. But and obviously, so Queen's Staircase and obviously the glass water bridge, right? Anyone know where the glass window bridge is located?
Luther.
Okay, Sierra, you are You are a history bucket. Yeah.
No, I actually went there for graduation in grade 6.
Okay, okay, okay,
That's
cool.
cool.
I know, right? That's so cool.
I was
Wow.
stuck in a church.
I know, right? Wow. What school that is? Okay, all the glass window bridge.
Temple Christian. We went on the fast ferries that morning and we was touring the island.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel so jealous. Wow. That's cool, man. Okay, good. So that is the glass window bridge. Okay, good. Um, yeah. So capitalize the names of structures. So bridges, statues, um, tunnels, expressways, memorials, right? Towers, Eiffel Tower, right? Where's the Eiffel Tower, anyone? Anyone? Anyway, anyone know? The Eiffel Tower,
Paris, France.
France, yeah. Okay, next one is you want to capitalize the names of specific geographic places. So we're talking about stuff like the Gulf of Mexico. Notice I didn't capitalize of, okay? Just G as in Gulf and M in Mexico. You want to capitalize, it's an interesting one, Pocono Mountains. Now, anyone know where Pocono Mountains are? Interesting, right? When I found this, I was like, okay, that's a new one. First of all, the name sounds weird, but it's actually a pretty place. Pocono Mountains. Anyone know?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it? Yeah. Pocono Mountains. That's um in Pennsylvania. It's a very pretty scene. Look at that. Pretty. Pocono Mountains. You can do all sorts of things there. You can go skiing, you can go, sorry, not skiing, canoeing, you can go hiking, you can do all sorts of stuff. Um, oh, they even skydiving and all. There was a nice picture I saw of a nice fall picture. Man, it was something like this, but in fall. They had one with, yeah, this one. I really like this picture. Look how pretty that is. So this is the Pocono Mountains in Pennsylvania. This is pretty, my friend. All right. Okay. So let's get back to English. Okay. So yeah. So you want to capitalize these things. Gulf of Mexico, Pocono Mountains. Oh, even Indian Ocean. Oceans there. And capitalize those things and stuff and stuff. So uh, Great Salt Lake. Those things. You wanna capitalize them. Um, we already did business names. We already did schools. Um, what we need to do is so the next one is, this one is interesting. It's kind of off from what we really talking about. It's kind of a weird detour, but are we supposed to introduce this one earlier? You want to capitalize um, mother, dad, and other titles if you can insert the person's name. So for example, so you wouldn't say um like not every time you have not every time you not every time you write mother and father, um you have to capitalize it. But if you couldn't, if in reading the sentence you could have put the person's name there, then that means you have to put their titles in capitalization. So for example, has, let's say, Henry gone to the store? So notice I could put Henry there, right? So since I could put Henry there, that means I need to capitalize the title. So has Dad gone to the store? So that could fit right there. So that must be capitalized. See that? So so we all know that, let's put a name, that Dwayne, say, tells crazy stories. Since we can put a name there, we can insert a title, right? So Uncle Dwayne tells crazy stories. But don't put, let's be more careful. But do not put, or do not capitalize, say, when names or titles are used. For example, my dad has gone to the store. So you notice that I can't put my Henry has gone to the store or my Suzanne has gone to the store. So it just wouldn't sound right. So here I wouldn't capitalize dad. Right? I only capitalize dad if I could have put their name. So has dad gone to the store? We all know that Uncle Dwayne tells crazy stories. But my dad has gone to the store. I couldn't put his name there. I couldn't say my um my Fraser has gone to the store. Like it wouldn't sound right. So you wouldn't capitalize that in that case. Um we can say our uncle tells crazy stories. So again, I couldn't put our Dwayne tells crazy stories because it just wouldn't sound right. And it's incorrect. So we can't put their name. Their name wouldn't fit here. So we can't say our Dwayne tells crazy stories. So here we wouldn't capitalize it. But in a case when we could insert their name and it would be perfectly fine, the sentence would read perfectly fine, then we would capitalize it. This is an interesting one to be careful with. It's kind of tricky to know when to capitalize or not when it comes to titles of persons. So be careful with that. You want to capitalize the 14 one, I'd say, is you want to capitalize the names of languages. So if, for example, English is capitalized, French is capitalized, Spanish is capitalized. You get the picture. So the next thing you want to do is you want to capitalize 15. Capitalize religions, religious documents, names of churches, and names for a supreme being. So, for example, Christian, you would capitalize that because that's like a denomination or religion, say. Heavenly Father, you want to capitalize that because that's a reference to God. Talmud, that's what? Writings of the Jewish religion, so you would capitalize that. All right. All right, number 16. You want to capitalize the Roman numerals and the letters of the first major topics in an outline. Be sure to capitalize only the first word in the outline, unless the words are a proper noun. So let me give an example of this. So example of this would be sort of interesting because you have to actually lay it out. So for example, capital I, that is, let me see if I could use a different font that would give me a better looking I. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see how they change the I for us. I want an I that is, okay, this is good. So say we have this I, we know that's a Roman numeral I. So no, not that type, sir. So I, so you want to capitalize what? This Roman numeral. So if we trying to say, if you're trying to outline, say, oceans and seas, say, A would be capitalized as well, and so it'd be major oceans, and say B would be major seas, and then you capitalized another Roman numeral I dot landforms, and then you capitalize the A again, so it's going to be what? Western. I don't know why this changed automatically from Roman numeral to something else. They just do their own thing. So A, why? So A dot, I really want times Roman for this, you know. Thank you. Good. So say we have Western hemisphere, no, go back. Okay. Say we have Eastern hemisphere countries, continents, sorry. One, North America, two, South America. So what is this just trying to show us? We're just trying to show us how what are the things we would capitalize. So we capitalize the Roman numerals and the letters of first major topics in an outline. So here I is capitalized because that is the Roman numeral I that we're using because it is giving us a major topic. A and B are capitalized. Why? Because that outline in what? The major oceans and major seas, something that is what? Important titles. When we go to we must capitalize that as well because we're talking about something that is important, a major topic again. And then A, we capitalize that because what? That is another major topic that we are bringing out as well. So that's what basically number 16 is trying to say. Okay. Okay. Number 17. You want to capitalize the first word of a direct quotation and do not capitalize the word following the quotation or after the quotation only if it's a proper noun, unless it is a proper noun. Okay, so for example, well, I don't want to put that parentheses yet. So for example, if we have, say, Harvey asked, now quotation, what is it? How old are you? So we capitalize what? We capitalize the first word that's a part of the quotation, which is how, we capitalize how. Okay. Number 18. When you capitalize brand names, but not the products. Okay, so y'all kind of quiet. Are y'all here? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, officer.
Okay, all right. Just making sure. I know it's a lot of rules for capitalization. You almost feel like everything you need to capitalize, but it's English, and that's why people would, when after they get their essay back from their teacher, they're like, "How in the world I get 67? How in the world I get 47? How I get 30?" Well, it's because English has rules, a lot of them, and if you don't follow them, you get marked down. Okay, and so we just getting a tad bit of the rules that English have, in particular.
A tad bit.
Yeah, we only in capitalization rules. So, you know, so hopefully as you follow those rules, the good part about English is this. Once you follow the rules and you do what the rules say, you at least pass, right? The rest is, creativity and how well you speak and your personality and how you are able to express yourself. But If you could not make mistakes with regards to grammatical errors, that's a good way, you know. It's a good way. And also when it comes to structural errors and, you know, errors in terms of how you articulate yourself, once you could get past those things and get, even though your work is not flowery and cute and say, you know, genius, but you still can get a good grade if you simply know how to obey the rules. Okay. So Ford, van. We capitalize Ford, we don't capitalize van. Okay. Mayfield. Anyone want to know what Mayfield is? Mayfield what? Wow, where are y'all childhood? Mayfield.
Pardon?
Mayfield. What is Mayfield a brand for?
You say Mayfield?
Yeah, Mayfield.
I don't know.
What? Y'all ain't not no childhood.
We never heard of it.
Wow, Mayfield ice cream. Gee. Y'all
I
never heard
heard
of
about Haagen Dazs.
y'all never heard of Mayfield ice cream? Wow. That's the first thing. Well, okay, they showing uh a player. Yeah, Mayfield ice cream. All right. So we what? We capitalize the brand but not the item. Okay. Okay, next up is number 19. You want to capitalize directions when they refer to a region or a country or the world. So, for example, Georgia is in the south. Obviously, south will be what? With the capital S. Okay, Georgia is in the south. Okay, and I don't want to fill us with too much examples because then we'd never finish. But he lives in China, which is also called the East. Okay, so yeah, that's a good one. Number 20. Um, we only have 10 more and then be done.
Wait, you say 10 more?
I'm kidding. We only have 2 more. Okay.
Wow, that wake me right up.
Albanic was like, what? Albanic, I thought you liked to write. Huh? Capitalize the first word of a greeting and closing of a letter. So for example, so if you want to start off your letter by my dearest friend, obviously you would start that off with a capital letter, and then if you closing, you would say sincerely, right? That would be in capital letter, sincerely yours. Okay. And the final one, and then we're done with capitalization rules for now, is when I capitalize a proper adjective but not the noun, it modifies. So capitalize the proper adjectives, sorry, but not the noun and modifiers. So for example, an African, so African is the adjective, nation. So notice we didn't capitalize nation. So another that would be a California beach. We didn't capitalize beach. California is the adjective that is used to describe the beach or to modify that noun to tell us what we, to tell us more about it. A what? Memorial Day parade. All right. So yeah, and that's us. So those are our rules, our capitalization rules. I figured that we kind of speed things up because if I had to do like how he is doing wrong and right, it would probably would have never finished. So I'm glad that we are able to get a good bit today in with these capitalization rules to kind of put an end to that so that we can cover more ground, because there's still more ground that I need to cover for English. And so if you're done writing, you can leave. Please do not forget to send in the notes. Don't forget to send in the notes right after you leave class, and I'll see you on tomorrow, God spare, at the same time, 6 o'clock. All right, take care and have a great rest of the night.
You too.
Yes, ma'am.